All right, grade 9, I hope that you're doing well. In today's session, we're just gonna make a quick revision about what will come up tomorrow in your quiz. In the quiz, I'll only include the topic 8.3, 8.5, and 8.6. So consequently, having noticed it's a little bit easy. Yet, we just need a little bit of understanding and also to concentrate a little bit. Again, while studying world history, it's more about understanding rather than memorizing. Do not memorize a lot, just try to consume the main idea, the main information, and gather it and wrap it in your own ideas. So, in topic point 8.3, we're speaking about the achievement of the Muslim civilization. We have studied in topic 8.1 and 8.2 the Muslim civilization, the beginning of it, the Umayyad Caliphate, and also the Abbasid Caliphate. Here we'll speak about the achievement of those caliphates and also the beginning of Islam. At the beginning of Islam, of course, under the Abbasid Caliphate, the Muslims reached their peak, meaning that the golden age of Islam happened during the Abbasid Caliphate, the golden age of Islam. And what we mean by a golden age is that we're speaking about when Muslims were developed in all parts of life. Everything, they were excellent in it. Mathematics, medicine, science, technology, even farming, all aspects of life, they excelled in it. Consequently, we consider it the golden age. So the Muslims view the golden age under the
Teacher,
Abbasid Caliphate. Yes?
the writing. There is writing.
Yeah, we will
Uh,
speak about the writing at the end of the session. Don't worry. To start with the economic and social changes, we're going to speak about the diffusion of learning. Diffusion of learning. What do you mean by diffusion of learning?
when, for example, people that trade, they trade their materials. Diffusion of learning
Nice.
is when people give each other knowledge, trade knowledge.
Bravo. Nice, bravo. So the diffusion of learning here speaks about how the people started to share the knowledge amongst themselves. We're speaking about a country or a land or a civilization which extended from beyond India, borders of China during the Abbasid Caliphate until Spain. And of course, while speaking about all of that region, you're speaking about different people, different customs, different traditions. Yet, those people holding the different customs and tradition, all of them share the common thing, which is the knowledge. So, we can say that already on. So, during the Abbasid Caliphate, we're speaking about all of that area was under the Muslim civilization. So, of course, by having all of that area under only one civilization, you're speaking about a magnificent civilization. And this magnificent civilization will have lots of people, like really a lot. People with different customs from India, from China, from Iran, which was Persia back then, Egypt, Mesopotamia. All of those people started to contribute in the knowledge together. So that's the meaning of diffusion of learning. Another point is that the Muslim philosophers, the arts, science, Muslim scholars also reintroduced knowledge of the Greco-Roman civilization. Greco-Roman civilization, which is the civilization of the Greek and the Roman. Since the Muslim civilization started to adapt scholars from Greece and also from Rome. And don't forget that at the time of the Abbasid Caliphate, while building Baghdad, which was the center of knowledge back then, they gave the translators, interpreters, those who translate knowledge from different language, like the Greek language or the Roman language, into the Arabic language, they gave them the weight of the book itself in gold. So the movement of translation started to thrive back then, and of course, they reintroduced the knowledge of the Greco-Roman civilization. The Muslim ideas also started to spread to other regions as well. That's because of invasions or because of trade and other reasons. Muslim rulers united diverse culture, introducing the Arab, Persian, Egyptian, African, and all of those people, as we have mentioned. Trade in the Muslim world. Very easy, very simple. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, he worked as a trader one time. Consequently, he told us that those traders, they are the carrier of civilization. Those people, they will help in making other people enter Islam. Those people carry Islam when they go for trading. Consequently, Islam itself has already focused on the importance of traders and merchants. So the merchants, they were honored in Islam. Merchants were honored in Islam. And we have already mentioned that Spain itself, Islam was introduced to Spain even before Tariq ibn Ziyad went there. And that was via the Arab Muslims merchant. So between 750 and 1350, the merchant had already built a vast trading network across Muslim land. Why is that? Because as we have mentioned, the land of the Arab people extended from the borders of China until Spain. Consequently, the Arab Muslims started to travel all of that area. And by traveling all of that area, started to share their knowledge and also everything, ideas, faith, and so on. Were the West African traders in gold and enslaved the person also for the salt and the bronze, blah, 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 blah. Muslim, Jewish, and Christian traders traveled the Silk Road. Remember the Silk Road? Hmm. Who made the Silk Road?
China.
Nice. Which dynasty in China? Mongolia, no. The Silk Road was made by the Chinese dynasty, the golden age of China, not Shang. Shang dynasty, no. Huh. When the people of China wants to show that they are elite, they say that we are the people of, you forgot of course, the people of Han. During the Han Dynasty, China has faced a golden age. During that time, the Silk Roads have already been built and paved the world. No, Mansoor. We studied that during the civilization of the Chinese one. We have a dynasty called the Han Dynasty. The Han Dynasty, they were very excellent dynasty, and the people loved them so much that if even they want to demonstrate elite or even honor, they would say that we are the people of Han. And at that time, China started to pave the Silk Road. Because before this, China thought that they were totally isolated, as we have mentioned before. But
Teacher,
that's not our topic of today.
I don't see your
Spreading
screen.
projects and ideas. Yes. What? Again? Hello? Can you hear us better?
Yes, yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. So spreading of products and ideas, we have already mentioned it. The high demand for manufactured goods Consequently, since the Muslim artisans were very excellent in making their job, consequently, the people started to require their merchandise. And that merchandise started to travel all the world from Cordoba in Spain until China. So we have the steel from Damascus,
Teacher, your sounds
steel from
lagging.
Damascus, the leather from Cordoba, the cotton textile from Egypt, the carpets from Persia. All of these were the goods which the people started to demand for. So from Baghdad to China, Shanghai, the much traveled Silk Road stretched for approximately 7,000 miles. Silk Road stretched for approximately 7,000 miles. And of course, they used the camel caravans, in which each camel can travel 20 miles in one day, carrying approximately 650 pounds of merchandise and goods. For agriculture, flourishes, of course, any civilization which seeks knowledge and also flourishment will have great interest in the agriculture because they need to feed their people. And how can they do that to farming? Simply by drainage systems, digging canals, and even introducing foreign plants to their land. So we can say that the Abbasids organized a massive irrigation project and drained the swamplands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. For the social structure and slavery, we have mentioned that the Muslim society is a mobile one, or we have something that is called social mobility. And social mobility is the ability to move up in social classes. So even if you were born into a poor family, a middle family, a rich family, a slave, consequently, you can just train yourself, study knowledge, and eventually you can even be a king or a sultan for a Muslim country. That's totally acceptable. So the Muslim civilization had the social mobility. And of course, to speak about the slaves, as we have mentioned, some slaves were able to free themselves. Yet, when Islam came, Islam urged the people to just set them free at the beginning until it became prohibited totally. The slaves worked in two main jobs in the household or even as skilled artisans. For the literature, of course, Islam emphasized a lot in the art and literature. Even our Prophet, peace be upon him, told us to seek knowledge from cradle to grave, since we are born until we die. A rich tradition of literature. We have a lot of traditional books telling us about folk tales of the Muslim community and even telling us about the stories of the early people. The most famous one that we have is 1001 Night. So the best known collection in the storytelling is 1001 Night. But to speak also about some poets, we have a poet like Ferdowsi who wrote in Persian using Arabic script. Also, we have a man like Omar al-Khayyam, known for his rubaiyat, quadruples, because he wrote his stanzas in 4 lines. That's why we call it rubaiyat. So Ferdowsi wrote poetry in Persian using the Arab script, Omar al-Khayyam was well known for his رباعيات, which means quadruples or four-line stanza. For religion shapes the architecture. Simply, Islam prohibits picturing. Making statues is prohibited in Islam. Consequently, the Muslim artisans and architecture they had to figure out some way, which is using textile and using some shapes like bingo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then put that in circle, and then put like star in the middle, and then just double it, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So this shape, for example, of course they had much more better than this one. So they put it together until they make an excellent shape or an excellent art. Art in the Muslim Empire. One of the most important arts in Islam was calligraphy. 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 Calligraphy is the art of the beautiful handwriting. Why did the Muslim need the beautiful handwriting? Who can answer?
For the beauty of the Quran.
For Quran. So we used the beautiful handwriting in order to write the Holy Quran. And of course, we have many ways to write our own Quran, which just gives us like a spiritual purity while reading it. And of course, the Muslim art is totally seen, especially inside the mosques. And these mosques were used at the beginning as Islamic centers, Muslim centers of learning. Okay, so the mosques at the beginning were used as Islamic centers in which people went in order to learn and acquire knowledge. Later, we had huge cities like Baghdad, Cordoba, Cairo, etc. So at the beginning, the centers of teaching knowledge and Islam were the mosques themselves. Later, caliphates started to thrive, like the Umayyads and also the Abbasid, and we had cities like Cairo, Cordoba, Timbuktu, which we have studied in Africa, and of course, Baghdad. Philosophy and history. To speak about philosophy and history, I just need you to know this. We have the great philosopher Ibn Rushd, who was known as Averroes, and the great thinker and historian Ibn Khaldun, who set the standards of writing and study history. We have a mathematician called Al-Khwarizmi. Khwarizmi, of course, he wrote a whole book in algebra, which you right now still study. We also have Ibn Sina or Avicenna, known in the Western land, which was a physician. We have Muhammad al-Razi, he was a medical thinker, and his books were taught in Europe. To become a doctor, you must study the works of Muhammad al-Razi and Ibn Sina before becoming a doctor. That was in the medieval.
Teacher, what should we know, teacher, about Muhammad
Know
al-Razi?
their names, their profession. Muhammad al-Razi was a medical thinker.
Okay.
Okay,
Teacher,
Ibn
also their
Sina, he
nicknames.
was a Persian physician. Yeah, the nickname for Ibn Sina and Ibn Rushd. Ibn Rushd, Averroes, and Ibn Sina, Avicenna. And that's it for topic 8.3. For topic 8.5, we're speaking about the early civilization of Africa, speaking about the geography of Africa. speak about the geography of Africa, we have mentioned that. Can we undo this? Yes, we can. Okay. So that's Africa here. And in the middle here of Africa, we have this beautiful line. What is this?
The creator. No. Huh?
Equator. What do you mean by the equator?
The invisible line that splits the earth.
An imaginary line which divides the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So the equator here speaks about what? Simply, we're speaking about in the equator, we have here the most intense sun rays on our planet. And since we have a lot of sun rays, consequently, we'll have high temperature. This high temperature will make the water in the oceans and lakes evaporate. When they go up, condense, and then fall as rain. That's why this area around the equator is known as the rain forests. So because the equator goes through Central Africa, the area around it is known as the rainforest. Above the rainforest, we have the most intense area of population in Central Africa, which is the savanna. Above to the savanna, we have what?
Sahara, teacher.
The Sahara Desert. So in Africa, the vegetation of Africa is divided into rainforests, savanna, Sahara. Rainforest, savanna, Sahara. Here's Sahara. Okay, so that's the vegetation of Africa. So we have the rainforest, we have the savanna, and also we have the Sahara. For the geographic feature, in addition to the desert and also the rainforest, other geographic features have acted as barriers to easy movement of the people. Of course, because of the Sahara, people weren't able to move a lot during northern and southern Africa. Also, we have something that is called cataracts or the waterfalls. For example, Niagara Waterfalls, which is the biggest waterfalls in the world. We have also some other rivers, including Zambezi, Congo, Niger, and the longest river in the world, which is the River Nile. But those are in Central Africa, Zambezi, Congo, and Niger. Let's add this here. Of course, despite that geographic barriers, people did migrate both within Africa and neighboring continent like Asia and also Europe. So, despite that geographic feature or barriers, people did migrate in Africa. For the resources and trade, to speak about resources, we have mentioned that Africa sits atop a great mineral and natural resources. Important point. Africa sits atop great mineral and other natural resources, and those helped to make such empires and kingdoms in Africa rich, but on the other hand, also people came to steal them. Of course, we have minerals like salt, gold, iron, and copper. All of them helped in doing this. Ships of the desert refers to
Camels.
teacher.
Camels.
And of course, the camel, they could carry approximately 5 to 600 pounds and plod for 20 or 30 miles a day. For migration of people and ideas, of course, the archaeologists have uncovered evidence that points to the Great Rift Valley as home to some of the earliest ancestors of modern people. Gradually, their descendants migrate of Africa and beyond. So, for the Stone Age culture in the Paleolithic period, Stone Age. In Africa, of course, and elsewhere, people started to travel and migrate because they were just nomads and hunters. In the Neolithic period, after farming, the farmers had learned to cultivate the Nile Valley and also to domesticate some animals, as we have studied in topic 1 from the beginning of this course. But unfortunately, some climate change slowly dried the Sahara, leading to the process of desertification. Desertification means what is the meaning of desertification?
Teacher, when Greenland dies and
Nice.
it be an desert, right?
Yes. So the process of desertification, meaning the turning or the shifting of Greenland into desert. Desertification. For the Panto migration, we have mentioned the Panto people and said that the Panto people are some of the Native African people, even they went to America, but they are some of the Native African people whom started to migrate along the valley of Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, and even South and East Africa. So, over thousands of years, the migration of people throughout Africa contributed to the continent's rich diversity of cultures. As we have mentioned, people move, they mingle, and share knowledge. Scholars have traced these migration by studying the language patterns they have learned. For example, blah, 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 blah. We don't need all of this. The root language is called the Bantu language. Why the Bantu language? Refers to the Bantu people. So the Bantu language, the name was taken from the Bantu people. As the Bantu speaker migrated to southern Africa, they spread their skill in farming, ironworking, as we have mentioned today, domesticating animals, blah, blah, blah. For Egypt and Nubia flourishes. We have studied Egypt in the past term, and we said that the Egyptian civilization was a thrived civilization, yet to the south of Egypt, we had another civilization, which was the Nubian civilization in nowadays Sudan. The Nubian civilization started to learn from the Egyptians as the ancient pharaoh has already ruled them for many centuries. When Egypt came to decline, as any other civilization goes up, then goes down. When Egypt came to decline, the Nubian civilization went up to Egypt and ruled as pharaohs. But unfortunately, when invaders came from the north, they went back to their location. Yes, Zuhair, I will. So Nubia and Egypt, two great powers. From time to time, ambitious Egyptian pharaohs subdued Nubia, ruled Nubia, and other, of course, helped. And of course, the Nubians always regained their independence. As a result of conquest and trade, the Nubian rulers adapted many Egyptian traditions, as mentioned. Even they adapted the gods themselves, started to worship the same gods. And even they built palaces and pyramids modeled on Egypt and Egyptian style. They used Egyptian titles and worshipped the Egyptian deities or the gods. So, most important, about 730 BC, the Nubian king Nubian king Pianki conquered Egypt. The Nubian king Pianki conquered Egypt, and this was at the time of the decline of the Egyptian civilization. For a century, Nubian kings ruled Egypt, yet unfortunately, the Nubian armies could not match the iron weapons of the Assyrians, the invaders from the north. So they went back to the south. Nubia trade and iron. Of course, to speak about Nubia, we must speak about the capital Merwi. Merwi. The capital city of Nubia was at Merwi. Very important, even if it's not now, but eventually. Speaking about trade, you're trading ivory, gold, salt, animal skin, slaves, blah, 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 blah. You just name it. Anything that you have, any goods and merchandise, you can trade with it and bring other merchandise that you lack in your own society. Equally important, however, was the region's resources. Merwi was rich in iron ore. Remember the iron ore? Who were the first people to make iron from ore?
Persians, teacher.
No. The first people to cultivate making and shifting
Egyptian.
iron from ore. Where? Starts
Egyptian.
with H.
Uh,
H-I.
Hittites.
Double T.
Hittites.
Yes. So the Nubian people also adapted that after they have been defeated by the Assyrians, whom already adapted that also from the Hittites. Not our topic. Splendor and decline. Everything goes up, must go down. Thank you. Speak about North Africa and the ancient world. Early African civilization had strong ties to the Mediterranean world, especially to that of the Greek civilization, because in the Greek civilization, the rulers have already mingled, as we have mentioned, in the island of Crete, which was the first island to inhabit or to host the Greek civilization. Those people started first to have trade with the northern African civilization, the Egyptian one, and also with the Mesopotamian civilization. After Crete, the people in Athens and also in Sparta, blah, 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 all of Greece started to have closer connections in the time of the Minoans, Mycenaeans, etc. So, the world of the Mediterranean one or the Mediterranean world had closer connection to Northern Africa. Easy. Lead, 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 lead. Bingo, bingo, bingo. No. So, the people here in Northern Africa, let's bring the red one. People in Northern Africa and Mesopotamia had closer connections to the Mediterranean world, Greek civilization, and later Roman and Byzantine empires. Consequently, those people are trading together, and Egypt would trade with Nubia, and Nubia would trade with Central Africa. Central Africa would trade later with Western Africa. Western Africa will trade with Southern Africa. Consequently, all of these places will share the common ties with the Mediterranean world. You understand anything?
No.
Yes, teacher.
So let's imagine that we have Abdullah al-Bassam, Lahidan, Badr, Fahd, Faisal, and Jabir, Qahtani, Mansour, to the rest of you. Al-Bassam, he has closer connection to me, so he trades with me. I give him, let's see, phones, for example. I give him phones. Al-Bassam knows Al-Hidan, but Al-Hidan doesn't know me. So Al-Bassam will give Al-Lihidan the phones that he has taken from me. Al-Lihidan will give the phones to Badr. Badr will give it to Fahd. Fahd will give it to Faisal. Faisal to Jabir. Jabir to Majid. From one to one, from civilization to the other. So all of the phones that you have right now, I gave it to Abdullah al-Bassam first, right? With me, grade 9?
Yes, yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
So simply, all of you now will have closer connection to me because I'm the reason that you have these phones. So Abdullah, while giving Al-Hidan the phone, he told him that, oh, I take it from Mr. Ahmed. And then while giving it to Badr, Badr will know that I'm the reason or I'm the source. So consequently, people from your country will come to my country, and also the same will happen to me. So all of these people, simply we can say African civilizations. Civilizations, not civilization. Civilization had closer connection with the Mediterranean world.
teacher,
Yes?
in the African civilizations, teacher, they moved
Yes.
a lot from city to another. Should we know all of those cities' names, teacher? It's hard, teacher.
Not all the cities I need you to know the names. I need you to know the most important cities. Not all of them. And we shall mention the
What
most
are they?
important ones. Okay?
Okay.
So the early Africans, they had closer connection with the Mediterranean world. That's it. Early African civilization had a strong tie to the Mediterranean. Phoenicians and Carthage. Of course, the Phoenicians, which we have already studied in term 1, they were a coastal civilization here in this place. And since they were coastal civilization, they started to move their cargoes and merchandise using the Mediterranean Sea. By doing this, they started to reach places like Morocco nowadays, Algeria, Tunisia, Greece, and all of these places. And while going to that places, they started to make colonies. Remember the meaning of a colony?
Groups, teacher,
Yes.
Groups. What?
of people or
Where?
territories.
Countries.
No, colonies is
Countries.
like when a country takes
Foreign
another
people,
country.
teacher, foreign people in another land.
Yes, exactly. So
No,
foreign
no,
people
colonies like
having
British
a
colonies.
city or a town or even a citadel or whatever, a village, but in a foreign land. Like for example, some people from America come to stay in one place here in Saudi Arabia. They are Americans, but they are having a part in Saudi Arabia, so we call this place a colony. The new modern shapes of colonies are the embassies because the embassy follows the country it belongs to. Like if I went to the American embassy, so this is an American land, even though it may be in India, but it is an American land. If I went to the Indian embassy in Australia, it will be Indian land, not Australian one. So that's the modern form of colonies.
Teacher,
Yes.
I don't understand.
No problem. It's not from the topic. So the Phoenicians, they started to build colonies. What is the meaning of a colony? When they move from their land into another part. One of these colonies, its name was Carthage. Carthage. Carthage, it was in northern Africa. And Carthage became very, 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 very powerful. It wasn't a civilization, it wasn't a kingdom, it wasn't an empire, it was just a colony made by the Phoenicians. But since they were very rich inside it, because they were traders and merchants, they started to gain power in northern Africa. So Carthage, a city in Morocco, began to rise as a great North African power. That's it. That's what I want. Roman control North Africa. Do you know the proverb that says every roads lead to Rome?
Yes, teacher.
Why?
Because of the trading routes.
No, it wasn't trading routes. Bravo, nice to hear. Because when they want to fight, they would build the road. And this road, of course, will help them to just mobile and move their armies and also take the minerals back to their own empire, which is the Roman Empire. One of the most important and influential figures in the Roman Empire was a man called Septimus Severus. Septimus Severus. This man, he wasn't from the royal family, yet eventually he turned to become the Roman emperor. And during his reign or ruling years, he has already extended the borders of Rome very, very much in the northern African world. Under Roman Empire or rule, the Christianity started to spread to the cities of North Africa, of course, because of mingling of ideas. The same thing would happen by the 7th century. Islam also will start to spread in Africa. Muslim, Jews, and Christian traders and merchants lived, partied, and interacted with one another as commerce expanded throughout North and West Africa. So they lived in harmony. They didn't care about the religious differences between them. They just lived a happy life at the reign of the Muslim community.
Teacher, so they
Islam
lived in
eventually,
peace, right?
yeah, in peace, like what we are living in peace right now,
Wow.
quite to some extent. Islam eventually became the dominant religion, of course, in many regions of Africa since it's the true religion. For topic 8.6,
Teacher, before going to topic 8.6, I have a question, teacher. You wrote
yes,
you wrote something in the worksheet, teacher. Can go back?
yes,
Yeah, Septimus
Severus,
Severus. What does that mean, teacher?
man,
What?
it's a man.
It's a name.
Yeah, I mean, a name of a man. Septimus Severus, he was a man in the Roman Empire. This man wasn't from the royal family, but eventually he could gather many allies, which enabled him to become the Roman emperor. And by becoming the emperor of Rome, he started to spread the influence of the Roman Empire throughout northern Africa, since northern Africa were very rich in minerals and materials. And of course, all people will come to steal them. So Septimus Severus was a man who ruled as the Roman emperor. As the Sahara dried out in Neolithic times, people were forced to migrate. That's easy. You don't have food in your country, you will travel to live in another one, just like that. The Kingdom of West Africa. To speak about the Kingdom of West Africa, we're speaking about what? Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. Farming villages began to produce the surplus of food. We have already studied the surplus of food in term one, and we said surplus means more than enough. And by having more than enough, you will start trading. Pretty easy. You need any explanation in this? With me?
No need to, teacher.
No need. Okay. Trading gold for salt. We have mentioned that. Unfortunately, unfortunately for the people in West Africa, in these areas, here, in this area, okay, in this area here, those people had a lot of gold, but they didn't have any salt. So, by the beginning of the civilization in West Africa, the West African civilization were rich in gold. On the other hand, they lacked one main mineral in their diet, which was the salt. Consequently, they started to do what? They started to trade what they have, the gold, or what they lacked, the salt. Even we could say that they traded gold for salt, ounce per ounce, or kilo per kilo, if we are using the kilo, okay, or pound for pound. So salt was very scarce. That it was easily worth its weight in gold, pound for salt.
Teacher, what does scarce mean?
Scarce means that doesn't exist a lot in your community. Like you lack it, you don't have it. Like just imagine now, can you live without water?
No.
So you cannot live without water. But if you have a lot of diamond and I have a lot of water, you will take my water and give me your diamond. Because if you don't do this, you will die. Since the Western African people didn't have the salt, it was very, very scarce, or they lacked it, they started to trade the gold, which they have plenty of, to the salt, which they didn't have. The powerful kingdom of Ghana started to thrive between the 800 and 1600s. So they started first to win control over the prosperous Sahara trade. Any any good, thriving community, civilization, kingdom, empire, if they are becoming strong, the first thing that they will have is to control the trade routes. Again, the first thing that they will do or have to do is to control the trade routes. Because by controlling the trade routes, you just ensure the economy will prosper. Ghana was located in the Board of V between two rivers, Niger and the Senegal. Gold and wealth of Ghana. By approximately 800, the ruler of Ghana, or the Sangai people, had already united many farming villages to create the kingdom of Ghana. So the Sangai people are the ones who started the kingdom of Ghana. And Ghana was called the land of gold. That's it. The king and his court, we all just need to know that the capital city was called Kombi Saleh. And in Kombi Saleh, the king divided the town into two places or two towns. One for him and his royal family, the other for the merchant. So we had two towns or two town walls. The first one was the home for the king, and the second was for the merchant, especially the Arab merchant, Muslim ones. Islam, speak about Islam. Since Ghana started to trade with the Muslim people, the merchant of the Middle East and Northern African civilization went to Ghana. There in Kombi Saleh, they started to spread their ideas, resulting in spreading of Islam. Ghana declined. Why did Ghana decline? Al-Murafids. Why did Ghana decline? Al-Murafids. Al-Murafids, they were pious Muslims, came from North Africa, and they started to launch many campaigns in order to spread their influence over the region and, of course, seize control of, again, trading routes. Again, to have control over trading routes will ensure that your economy will be very prosperous. Any questions so far? Any questions so far, boys?
Yes, about the word notes. Is it in the worksheet? Will the quiz be about it, like completely?
Yes, completely.
Okay, thank you.
So, the second civilization which just started to thrive after Ghana was the civilization of Mali. To speak about Mali, we're speaking about the Mali great ruler, Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was the most richest man to ever live on our planet. Mansa Musa, in order to speak about him, we need to speak about his pilgrimage journey. In approximately 1324, Mansa Musa sent the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, and of course, during his great journey to Mecca, he took with him approximately 12,000 of were enslaved 60,000 men, 80 camels, each one of them carrying 300 pounds of gold, 500 gold staves. All of that was just to dominate power and wealth to the northern African civilization, to tell the people that Mali does exist. We are strong. And we have already spoken a lot about Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa, after coming from Mecca, we need to go to the map. Okay. So Mansa Musa, that's Mali, or the capital city of Mali here. He went from Mali to Egypt, and from Egypt to Mecca, and even he went here also. And of course, he built a mosque every Friday, giving the people gold, blah, 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 and all what we have studied. Most important now, while coming back on the journey back from Mecca, Mansa Musa came here to a city called Timbuktu. A city called Timbuktu. A city called what?
Timbuktu.
While coming to that city, he started to just say, oh, Timbuktu is a good city. Why don't we just make it a center of knowledge? And he started to build in it mosques, universities, and even ask scholars from the Muslim world to join him in Timbuktu. So as he returned from Mecca, Mansa Musa stopped in the busy city of Timbuktu, where he built the palace and the mosque. Timbuktu had already grown from a small settlement into a major center of trade and Islamic learning. And all of that was due to Mansa Musa. Due to Mansa. The third civilization was the civilization of Songhai. Speak about Songhai. We're speaking about the 1400s dispute, unfortunately, over succession weakened the civilization of Mali, and by that the people started to shrivel, leading into the decline of Mali, and of course, by the decline of the civilization, another shall arise. And the new one was called Songhai. The Empire of Sangai was the greatest of the great civilizations in West Africa. Why? Because Songhai started to expand north, south, west, and east. So they started to expand in all of Africa. And instead of just having a very tiny place like this, Songhai became like that. So all of these lands later were controlled by the kingdom of Songhai. So the empire started to expand, and by their expansion, started to come counter other people, and by coming counter other people, they will have the knowledge, ideas, beliefs from them. To the decline of that great civilization, unfortunately, Songhai continued to prosper after Askia Muhammad died, and Askia Muhammad, oh, we forgot to say about him. Askia Muhammad, he was the greatest ruler in Songhai Empire, and he also was a Muslim pious who made the journey to Mecca. Okay. The decline of the civilization of Songhai was due to the invader who came from the north, but this time was the Moroccans. The Moroccans came from the north. The invader used the gunpowder to defeat and dispute Songhai. And the invaders were so Ghana declined due to Almoravids, while on the other hand, Songhai declined because of the invaders from the north, which were the Moroccans. Small societies and kingdoms in West Africa. We're speaking about Benin, and Benin native people also lived in the Savannah region. And they had the walled city states of the Hausa people, and the wall helped to just protect from the invaders, as we have mentioned. So here to speak about Benin, the Oba, of course, means the king.
Teacher, and the true false questions and the quiz. Will you ask us about names? Because teacher, there are too many names and too many cities, teacher.
I'll ask about the famous names, not
Okay.
anyone. The Hausa people, they built a number of independent clay-walled cities, and know this, the wall was used to help protect against the invaders of the cities. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Kano, for example, was the most progressive Hausa state. And bingo, that's it. Like this, that color, and all of this like that, and then like this. And let's do this and do that. Bingo and bingo, bingo. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far, boys?
Teacher, there is writing in the quiz.
Yeah, for the writing and the quiz. So if I ask you, for example, let's see where is the book. That's the book. So go and start. For example, I tell you, speak about the decline of Ghana. For example, so you will tell me that Ghana started to decline because some people called Almoravids came from north of Africa to attack them, and by attacking them, they started to loot and shoot and kill and steal them, and this led to the decline of Ghana, just like this. If I asked you, for example, to speak about the Bantu migration, for example, I forgot about them. Okay, but here I'm asking about Bantu and the migration. Bantu, a group of people in Africa, migration, moving from one place to another. Just by your thoughts, why would someone migrate from his own town? So, of course, something must has happened to his own town. So we'll speak about that. The Bantu migration started because of
Desertification.
some problems. Desertification, for example, led to the Bantu migration. After migration, what happened? Those people, they had knowledge. While migrating to another place, they started to spread their knowledge. Consequently, that's it. So just like this.
Okay, teacher.
Yes.
How many questions are I think 2 or what?
Only two, like the last one. 8.3, 8.5, and 8.6.
Teacher,
Yes.
what's the questions of the quiz? Like true, false, or
What's the questions? Yeah, true and false. Also, you will have show the correct answer, matching, and writing. Any other question?
Teacher, which is
Yes.
more important, teacher, the book or the worksheet?
Worksheet.
Okay.